Guys, I've got two killer thrash metal riffs for you to learn today, and these are designed to help you with faster alternate picking, and we're also throwing in that killer technique called the gallop. I want to let you hear these in the full mix first, so go grab your guitar, let's learn these. This is riff number 1. Alright, that was riff number 1. Now this is riff number 2. Alright, so let's jump right in. I'm going to break both of these riffs down. We'll cover the first one first, of course. By the way, my Patreon supporters, you guys have the tabs and the backing tracks. Remember, I give you 2 backing tracks, one with a full mix, and it has both riffs together. And I give you also a track with just the drums and bass for you to play along with, and that way you can kind of expand and throw your own flavor into that. So make sure you download those. If you'd like to learn more about my Patreon and what I offer on there, there's a link in the description of this YouTube video. Here's the first riff, just out in the open, no backing track. Now, most of you know I'm in standard tuning here, and we are starting out on the open A string, but quickly hammering down on the 2nd fret of that. So we're going like this. Okay, and if you wanted to just kind of pause and just practice that back and forth, feel free to do so. And what I'm doing is I'm hammering down on that note, right? I'm picking that open string and hammering down on the 2nd fret. I immediately start alternate picking. Now, I go from there to a variation of a C power chord. And it's sort of out of the key here, so it gives it that wicked feel. So I'm playing this right here. So on the A and D strings, that is frets 3 and 4 instead of 3 and 5 like you'd play the regular power chord. So put those together, we've got this. Just sounds cool and slightly a little evil, doesn't it? Now, the 2nd time around, we do something pretty cool. So let me play this through real quick, okay? We're alternate picking 10 and 9, and then we're going to do some hammer on and pull offs from 7 to 9, and then pull off to the open string, so like this. Then we'll do the same thing from frets 5 to 7. So 5, 7, 5, pull off to the open string. So it's like this. Now, then we go back and repeat what we played earlier, okay? And then we're going to end kind of the 4th time around here on something just a little different. It gets a little tricky, and this is probably the funnest part of the riff that we're about to do. Let me play it through real quick, and then we're going to learn that final piece, okay? Now we're hopping over to the E string, and we're going to play this right here. We've got got a little gallop in there if you heard that. And that gallop is just like a 1, 2, 3. It's just an alternate picking style, alternate picking technique. Really quick, like a quick pick. 1, 2, 3. The cool thing is we're not doing the 1, 2, 3 on just one note. We're doing the 1, 2 on the 6th fret, but then that 3, we're moving to the 5th fret. And then we just walk down to 3rd fret, back to the 5th fret. And I'm palm muting all of those notes there. Now, kind of the tricky part here is what we go to next after that. So after this part, we're going to go back and forth between the A and the E string. Okay, we're going to go 2, 3, 2nd fret of the A string, the 3rd fret of the E string. So 2, 3, followed by, kind of just walk it down a half step, 1, 2. All right, let's play through this riff one more time together. Here's riff number 2, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to play it out in the open, but I'm going to start with that last piece that we just learned going into this riff, because these actually go together. I'll explain more about that in our guitar chat, as well as the tone that I'm using. I'm using something completely different today. It's pretty cool. So in any case, we're going to play that very last piece. Okay, that's it. Now this is going to be pretty easy, as you can hear, because a lot of stuff that we're doing, we've already done it, especially the single note riffs there. So what we're doing is we're hanging on that E power chord there, and we've got some cool gallops, that 1, 2, 3. But what I'm doing here is I'm playing a couple of downstrokes before I go into that gallop, and I think it gives you a cool like rhythmic pattern. And you can play around with this, right? You can add the downstrokes after the gallop. Sometimes I'll gallop and do one downstroke, but in any case, this is what I'm doing. Just watch carefully and watch my right hand. It'll go down twice, then the gallop. And again, if you need to pause the video and just practice that, I'm trying to break this up the best I can. So if you need to pause anytime, just go through, you know, like you're doing bite-sized chunks, little pieces at a time. Feel free to do that. Now, what we do after that is we just go to kind of the sort of like a stock metal style rhythm here when we go from that E power chord to the B flat. A little thing that I'm kind of doing in between the B flat, and this is very quick, is I'm also palm muting that open E string very quickly between those two power chords. A very quick palm mute. You can barely even hear it, but it acts rather as a little spacer in between those two chords there. Now sometimes I might not even palm mute that note. I might just do a, you know, just let me turn my volume up here, just like I might just palm mute anything, whatever. Again, it's just like a little spacer in between those notes. That's all it is. It's just a little filler. So it almost doesn't matter to me anyway what you play there. But in any case, that's kind of what I'm doing. Now, after that, we go into a similar riff on the E string that we did earlier. But of course, this one's not quite as complicated because we don't have the back and forth at the end between the A and the E strings there. So we're going, let me play the riff through, and then we'll get to that single note pattern there. Very similar again, we're palm muting, we're using that galloping technique with the palm mute for frets 6 and 5. So the gallop, right? 1, 2, 3. Well, the 1, 2 is on the 6th fret. The 3 is on the 5th fret. And then we go to the 3 and back to the 5. And then I let off the palm mute for the remainder of that riff. So after all that, we go back to that 3rd fret. 3 open, okay, then 2, 3. So one more time. Now we go back to this part here. There, I just cut that riff short. Instead of this, I do this. We cut it short and just land on that 2nd fret. So let's play through that together one time here. We had 2 killer thrash metal riffs, and I've got 2 things I want to share with you in our guitar chat. But first, if you do not have my free practice guide, Metal Riffs and Licks, grab a copy of that. Download that. There's a link in the description of this YouTube video here. Metal Riffs and Licks has helped thousands of other guitar players, and I give this away to all of my YouTube subscribers. So again, grab a copy of that below. Now, if you already have my free guide, then you may want to check out my online guitar courses to see if that's something that you think will help you. There are links to both my beginner's course and my riff course, Metal Riff Master. Those are in the description of this video. First of all, well, this cool riff, where did it come from? I kind of like it. I hope you enjoyed learning it as well. Now, before I tell you about that, you guys know, you already know what I'm going to say here. I want you to learn this, yes, but what do I want you to do? I want you to expand on it. Don't just play what I shared with you. Don't just play the notes that I wrote for this riff. Add your own flavor to this. This is super important because not only are you a metal guitar player, you're a musician and you're a writer, you're a creator. So I want you to know that you can add to this. You can add your own flavor. Maybe you're playing this one part of this riff and you're like, you know, I'm hearing something else. Well, I encourage you to try that. Branch out. Play these notes in different places. So just, you know, do what you will with this riff. I wrote this riff along with like, I think 4 other riffs. And actually one of these riffs you heard in the prior lesson. I'll leave a link to that lesson in the video description as well. And I'll put it on the end screen once we end the video here. But I wrote these riffs, that was more of a rock one. I wrote these riffs for some promotional work that I did for Peavey last month, which was such an epic experience. I got to work with Fred Poole, the head of product development, and we did some filming over there with a marketing company. So I had a great time doing that. I hope I can share more of that later, so do stay tuned for that. You've probably seen some of those clips though on my Instagram and Facebook. So hopefully more to come on YouTube for that. Now the second and final thing I want to share with you real quick is the tone that I used in the final mix, and of course what you were hearing during the lesson part. In fact, I've got a video on that plugin right here, so go check that out next. And as I promised, I also have the rock lesson I did a couple of weeks ago, the prior lesson. I'll put that up there for you if you haven't seen that yet. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, keep it metal and keep playing music.